So yeah, marriage was the hardest. We almost got divorced that first year.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
where you at with it now?
I mean, I feel like at this point, to be real with you, like it's 5 years, and I don't
Love
think
me.
I just ain't going. I just ain't trying to do it over, bro. Like I think we was watching a comedian. Comedian was like, yeah, like I could go do all that, but I be starting over. They might want kids, and I gotta learn them, and they might not like that I leave floss on the counter and this and that, And you have to start completely over with a person, and it's like, man, like I done put in so much work here, and I think I will tell you, I heard something that really stood out to me was like. The grass is greener where you water it.
Yeah.
So the grass ain't always greener. So a lot of
different
people,
shade.
it's just different, right? So
Yeah.
we'll when we think that other thing or that other person is a greener thing, it's because we're actually watering that. We're watering that relationship emotionally or physically in a way that God didn't intend. But like I think with marriage, we kind of like, man, I don't feel like doing that. Like it should have been easy. It should be easier. It should be easier.
Yeah.
We don't want to work.
So like what he said, like fighting for it and fighting for us. I just want to put this out there that I think there are certain grounds that are cause for divorce, like women who getting beat up and stuff like that. I don't think that that's something like it's not something that I personally would stay in, abuse or something situation like that. So I just want to put that out there that we don't stay for every single thing.
Yeah.
Because there's history and because there's time, there's a point where it is unhealthy, there's no point of return, and maybe God is not in that marriage, then you might need to take that to the Lord or your spiritual counselors and seek that. But I definitely would say that like Lee was in the beginning, I'll say overall too, he is the one that is like, I guess more of like the fighter for it.
There we go. Admit it. We together still because I don't be letting her go. And I could have, but it's like, man, like, in my mind, I think like, like this, and not just because it's been time, but it's like, is it really that bad?
So
I had to really think about that.
So it's not like, Lee, you're fighting for me and I'm not fighting, or just, it's sometimes like I get so overwhelmed sometimes where I feel like, you know what? Like he's too good for me. He needs somebody else that can handle, all of him in a sense, right? And sometimes I feel like I'm not strong enough to handle it or deal with that or deal with the conflict, and so my fight or flight response would kick in, and I just be wanting to fight because I'd be like, you know what, he need, I'm not able to provide, and it's causing me to feel inadequate in a sense, and so it wasn't necessarily him, but more so of like you need another degree of of a mate. So that's how it was in the beginning. Like I wasn't sure. I felt like it was too much for me to be able to walk in as a wife, and then like I don't know nobody. I don't even have anybody to talk to that is a wife or has had successful marriages, because like my mom was married, but she was like, it wasn't no real marriage. Like she was married to somebody who went to prison for, 20, 30 years. Yeah. And then my father has never been around, so I don't even know what it's like to have a good husband or what the traits of a good husband is. So like there was no example for me. So my thing was like, I don't want to deal with it. Maybe God called me to be by myself. Maybe he just wants me to serve at my church and just like raise my children. You start just saying, you know what, maybe I'm not the one that's supposed to be married. But I think that like he said, God spoke to him. God spoke to me too when I first met Lee. When I first met him, I didn't get what he got. Like, that's gonna be my husband. I was showering. This was like, I don't know, maybe like a year after we started working at the probation office, because we worked in federal government. And I remember I was like dating, like I was like going on these dates and dating a lot, whatever. And it just always like it was fun doing it, but like I would get home and I would just always feel so unfulfilled. And I'd be like, God, just send me a mate, because I don't want to be out here in this life like this. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I want to honor you. And I know that if I'm out here doing this, I will never be able to honor you, because you're not going to bless a mess. You're not going to bless sin. You're not going to bless fornicate. You're not going to do all that. Like you're going to have grace for me, that you're going to give me certain things because you love me and you share grace, but you're not going to, I'll never meet my full potential if I'm not walking in line with him, because I know better. It's different when we don't know better, but I know better, and he requires a lot. So I'm taking a shower. Was I rambling in that?
I mean, I guess a little bit, but it's cool.
Okay, I was taking you can cut that out.
No, I ain't cutting nothing out.
I was taking a shower, and I was saying that prayer, what I just said, and Lee, it was a vision of Lee that came, and I was like, no, God, that's like my friend. Like, I don't want to cross that, that line, and then we can't go back. It did.
Sorry.
So, we had little run-ins like here and there, where like he'll pick me up from like a party or something.
Oh, she know to tell this story, man.
He'll
Let me tell that story today.
He'll pick me up from a party. Okay, all right. So
Let me tell that story today.
that's neither here nor there. But so yes, the marriage for us, the first year, yes, it was challenging. But
first year was hardest, I would say, for
the
us.
hardest. The first two.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
third one got tricky too.
First year, I think, was the hardest for me because like it was more like I hadn't experienced anything like it. Like it was just so new. Like I mean, again, like I'm about to be a new father. I'm a stepfather now. Yeah. I'm a husband now. You know, I don't know what it costs to actually run a family. So I'm like, oh, am I making enough money? Do I make enough money? You know, I got to figure this out. So I had put a lot of pressure on myself the first year to really go hard in business, and which caused me to make mistakes because you rushing.
Trying to get the money.
You know, trying to figure those things out. Mm-hmm. But like if I went back, I mean, I would slow down.
Yeah.
I would slow down.
Dated longer.
Yeah.
Probably would have held it off on having our child so that we could have enjoyed, you know, being engaged.
Yeah, just, you know, really, because I mean, it was like we had. I mean, just the sheer we ain't been on a lot of vacations together.
No,
we ain't been on a lot
but
of.
But we're going to one this year.
Yeah, we haven't been on a lot of dates. So I think we just have that kind of like reverse relationship where we'll just continue to get better with time.
Yeah.
But I think for people who their first year, you know, you made a point actually, not having anyone to talk to, and I think that's like so important.
Oh,
like
yeah.
if I had like
right
a man or someone who was in my life, or even like a male figure who was married, etc., mm-hmm. who was like in my ear, like, hey, you know, it's cool, like it's gonna work out, it's gonna be better
mm-hmm.
for you.
Right.
Then I think that would have been a lot better for me.
No, I agree. I think it would have been a lot easier as well. So, and then making sure you have the right type of people in your ear, because anybody can talk. Like a single friend is not going to necessarily, and it's good to have these friends, but they're not going to necessarily know what kind of advice to give you on marriage if you're going through a trying time. They're like, girl, you need to leave, or girl, you don't need to submit. Don't listen to him. Be your own woman. This and that. And if you get that in your ear, if you get that in your ear enough, you believe that. You're like, you know what, you're right. I was independent before. You start, you know what I'm saying?
I could do bad by myself.
I could do bad all by myself. And so I think it's just you need to be very cautious of who you allow in your spirit and who you allow to speak to you. Yeah. And then realizing.
Also don't take stuff to social media, man.
Don't take stuff to social media, but also realizing that, like, even though we say like, oh, you know, I'm here to talk. People will say to us, if you need anything, I'm here if you want to talk. Like, give us a call. And a lot of times out of our stubbornness or like, our fear or like shame or whatever, we won't go to those people that God put there for us. So like you need safe friends. Like you need your
same sex,
your circle of people. It's a book called Circle of People.
But I think very important. Like you need, because you need someone of the same sex that you can talk to.
Same sex.
You know, don't go talking to people of the opposite sex. Don't talk to your homeboy that you've been. You know, like, you know, for women or for men, don't talk to that opposite sex friend you've had for years. This and that, because you know it's just you open up a realm. I think what it is, I think
the door for the enemy to get in.
When we went through premarital counseling, one of the main things she talked about, always stood out to me, was like walls and windows, right?
Yes.
So setting up walls and then like small windows for certain people that can kind of come in, but that you can lock down if it needs to be, if there's a problem there. So like.
So we getting divorced?
No, man.
We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, I mean it depends. I'll see tomorrow. I'll see tomorrow. But no, yeah, you know. So yeah, I guess your first year, you just need to like really have somebody that you could talk to, the same sex, someone with experience. When have married couple mentors, that's something we all talk about, like having married friends, people who can check you on things when you tripping, you know, stuff like that. Just get the right people, and God, man, like seeking His presence in everything.
What's that one book? Is it Proverbs? Where God talk about like how strangers will inherit your wealth and all that kind of stuff. Which one?
Yeah, I definitely recommend all men and women read the book of Proverbs in general.
Yes.
Stay away from the immoral person, the person that may cause you sin, you know, calling in the streets, leading you to the slaughter. You know, Book of Proverbs talks a lot about those things. It's not worth it, man. I'm trying to listen. It's not worth it at all. It's not worth it.